a Jim that was a store manager for Starbucks here in Seattle. He worked in an area called the Broadway District, and it's kind of a hip area. And I had just started with Starbucks, and I was there about 3 months. And Jim gives me a call. This is 26 years ago. And he said, "Howard, I'd like to come talk to you and Howard Schultz, who is the CEO and chairman of Starbucks." And I said, "Okay, Jim." And I said to him, "Is there something I can help you with? You know, I'm trying to be the good executive and not involve Howard." And he said, "No, I need to talk to both of you." So I set up a meeting, and the day came, and Jim arrived, and we went and sat down in Howard's office. And Jim had been with the company even then a long time, and he had a personal relationship with Howard. And so we just were talking, and small talk, and the A-type personality came out at me, and I said, "Jim, so what is it you want to talk about?" And I was sorry I was so pushy when I got the answer. He said, "I need to tell you that both of you, that I have AIDS, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to work." Now, that was the first person that I ever had any contact with that had AIDS. You know, if you go back to those days, right? And we didn't kind of know everything. We didn't know much. You know, we knew a lot, I guess, but didn't know much. And you know, he's sitting right next to me, thinking, "Oh God, is that catchy?" Would he, you know? But I stood my ground. I stayed right next to Jim. And so Howard asked him a question. He said, "So Jim, how long do you think you'll be able to work?" And Jim said, "Well, I don't know." And then Howard asked him another question. He says, "Well, so how are you going to support yourself when you can no longer work?" And Jim said, "Well, some agencies are starting to develop to support people with AIDS, and they've promised me that I'll get some help. And what I need from you is I want to be able to work as long as I can work, and then when I can't, I'll let you know, and I'm just too tired to do it." And Howard looked at him and said, "Jim, you can work as long as you want to work, and when you no longer can work, we will pay you your salary until you pass away." Now, you got to put yourself in that time period. A small company. It wasn't some big corporate giant now, public company. We had about 40 stores. We were losing money. And here's the chairman of the board saying to one of his people, "You can work as long as you want to work." The person had AIDS. We didn't know, is it a health issue? Can he be making drinks? What? I mean, we just didn't know. It sounds silly at this time, but then we didn't know. And here's Howard saying to Jim, "You can work as long as you want to work. And when you can't, we'll continue to pay you because you're part of our family." And then Howard asked him, "Well, Jim, what are you going to do for your health care? It's got to be pretty expensive. What's happening there?" And Jim said, "Well, right now, the health insurance is covering it in the company, and even back then we had health insurance for everybody. I laugh at this argument that we can't do this. Well, Starbucks paid for health insurance. If you worked over 20 hours a week, you got health insurance for everybody. The chairman of the board got the same health insurance as the barista, exactly the same. So Jim had health insurance, and Howard then said, "Well, when you can't work, what are you going to do for that, for the health insurance?" And Jim said, "Well, again, there's agencies." And Howard said, "No, Jim, you're our family. Your health insurance will be covered until the day you die." Until the day you die. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, wow, did I come to work in the right place or what? Everything that I had believed in about joining Starbucks, this little tiny company, and Howard Schultz and the place, all came to life in that one little conversation. That one little conversation. Now, Jim didn't live a year. He died within a year. But what kind of message do you think it sent through that organization? What message do you think it sent to me? It said I could do anything to help another human being with inside that organization. Didn't have to think too much about it. Even if it meant it cost us money. Serving people. Serving people. Jim was a store manager. Sold cups of coffee. But he was a human being first. What we're talking about here is that journey that I took, right, from trying to learn about myself to figure out who I was so that I could live a life of fulfillment, a full life, all the way to realizing that what it was really about was not about me at all. It was about people. It was about the people that I was here to serve. Didn't make any difference what business I was in. It doesn't make any difference you're working for a nonprofit. Doesn't make any difference you're doing data. It's always about serving people. Sometimes it's big things. Sometimes it's small things. But let's not forget, it's not about the coffee. It will never be about the coffee. It will always be about the people. Thank you very much.